What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the JEFF MEACHAM Network. Thank you guys. Make sure I'm actually on here. Looks like I am. Okay, very good. If you can't hear me, let me know quickly so I can fix the stupid volume on this damn show, because Lord knows I hate doing that. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the preview image. Charlotte posted that earlier today on Twitter, and my goodness, I'm grateful to her for it. I'll tell you what. Beautiful picture, beautiful lady. It's it's only been out for a couple hours, but there you go. So it is Monday. It is June 20. It is the last Monday of the month. It is June 29th, 2020. We are less than a day and a half from the end of the first half of this stupid ass year. It's been a crappy first half. There's no question about that for all of us. It's been and it's easy to dwell on the negative. It's easy to dwell on it's easy to focus on the positive. I had a conversation earlier with a friend of mine. I was talking about I said, just noticing more and more that allowing my brain to drift and not focus on positivity is having me devolve almost. I got to channel the energies properly. And she very poignantly said, you have to feel everything, though. Toxic positivity doesn't help anyone either. And I said, you know what? That's a very good point. It's one of those things. So, yeah. So I'm trying very hard to embrace the positivity, but not outwardly ignore the negativity either, because the negativity it's out there. It's prevalent, as is this damn banner not being where it's supposed to be. Anything to drive me crazy today, honestly. It's been one of those days production wise, so I apologize if I seem frazzled. It's because I am. There we go. Okay, very good. So who all is here? Kobe's here. Hey, Kobe. He's got a question. We'll get there momentarily. Hello, Brandon. Welcome to Talk Wrestling. Kobe wants to know if I was in charge of the pay-per-view calendar for WWE, how I would approach it. How would I do it? It's very, very simple. I would reduce the schedule greatly. I would bring it down to 5. I would have the Royal Rumble. I would have WrestleMania. I would have I would do 4. I would do 4. I would do Royal Rumble. I would do WrestleMania. I would do SummerSlam. I would do Survivor Series. That way you have one pay-per-view each quarter, each season, each whatever you want to call it. And as far as I was going to say leave Money in the Bank in, I think Money in the Bank, the match itself, should be a WrestleMania thing. Although since there is women's Money in the Bank, I guess there could be an argument for there being a pay-per-view around that. So maybe Money in the Bank in June instead of King of the Ring. So you have Rumble, Mania. It's evenly spaced out, but not 12, 13, 14, whatever the case may be a year. If you're going to keep NXT a developmental brand or, play it off as such, then I would say have them be once a quarter also. Have them be the off months, like, a February and May and July and October, September, just kind of space it out, and I mentioned King of the Ring, Kobe. I would not bring King of the Ring back as a pay-per-view, but I would keep Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank seems to mean more than King of the Ring did, based on my history with both. So, thoughts on the COVID cases at WWE. I am thoroughly dismayed at all the cases that are popping up in the last week. And a friend of mine, Adam Pierce, well, I say friend, it's a relative term, an acquaintance of mine, let me clarify, unfortunately contracted it, as did Renee Young, as did Kayla Braxton, twice apparently, as did Jamie Noble, as did a WWE extra whose name escapes me at the very moment. I couldn't tell you what his name is, so sorry. It's unfortunate that the WWE management team did not recognize the seriousness, in my opinion, of this situation and allow their employees to be subjected to catching it. And now it's like, oh shit, we better get serious. And people are going down. They're not dying, thank goodness. But I do have friends who have relatives that have died from it. So I all too well understand the seriousness of what is happening in this world and the need to quarantine, the need to isolate, the need to stay, as Samuel Jackson would say, stay the fuck at home. It's not difficult, folks. It really isn't. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't. And I know I'm being hypocritical because I was bitching the other night about being stuck at the house and wanting to go see the Halloween screens down at the Myers house and wanting to get out, and it's a very fine line I'm walking, and I'm just I hate being forced to be here. I don't mind being here alone. I don't mind talking to you guys here, or but the idea that I can't go anywhere, or the idea that I can't go past my driveway without bullshit is it sucks. So anyway, hello, Mr. Anderson. Hello, Big G. Hello, Ricky. Hello, Colin. Thank you guys for everybody for coming in. It's much appreciated that you guys are all here. Am I watching Raw? If you saw my tweet a few minutes ago, Kobe, no, I'm not, because they're advertising the double contract signing, which immediately says to me, nope, forget it. Stupid, not happening. Not gonna happen. Not gonna watch. I'd rather watch a movie with my son or my family. And I've got tons of movies besides my binges I got coming up, because if you guys saw my tweet last night or this morning, I'm doing a double binge in July because I have the time on my hands besides packing the room up for the move. I am going to watch the entire Star Wars saga straight through chronologically, as well as the chronological order of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie-wise. So I'm going to be busy. And I don't have to watch First Run Wrestling if I really don't want to. This show provides me the opportunity to talk to you guys about anything I want to talk about wrestling-wise. Musings lets me talk about stuff non-wrestling. Rewind watches old shows, and the trivia I host does classic stuff too. So, it's not important to me to watch the show's first run. I could care less. Let's see. Shane Pinson, Eddie Gilbert, WWE Hall of Fame worthy. I don't know enough about Eddie Gilbert's career to make that determination. I did not get to see much of Eddie in my early fandom. I have not seen much of Eddie since I've become a fan, and I've been a fan for 30 years now. I know that Eddie was the booker in ECW prior to Paul taking over. I know Eddie had a ultraviolet match with Mick Foley as Cactus Jack back in 91 that was ahead of its time. I know Eddie was married to Missy Hyatt, and we had Missy on the show back in the olden days. And I know enough about Eddie. That's what I know about Eddie Gilbert, is what I just said. So is he Hall of Fame worthy? I don't know. That's not again, the Hall of Fame committee is a committee of one. I mean, let's be real. So if Vince thinks so, sure. Why not? Bouncing off of that, if I could pick any past wrestler to be in the next year's Hall of Fame, who would I pick? Since he is now a past wrestler, I will say The Undertaker. And again, that's selfish. Very selfish of me, because WrestleMania is scheduled to be here next year in LA if the world rights itself, which more and more each day I'm hearing it's not going to happen. So if it does happen, I want to see The Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame here in Los Angeles. That's what I want to see. Yes, they do have to go in, Caitlin. The previous class of the Hall of Fame is yet to be inducted for 2020. So, if they don't induct them prior to WrestleMania next year, WrestleMania is a live situation, then yeah, inducted to class 2020, which I'm also fine with seeing live because I get to see the NWO go in, and I'm fine with that because I love Hulk Hogan, I love Hall and Nash, and Shawn Waltman's my boy, so I'm fine with either scenario there. Wrestling Fan 1998 is here. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Big G says, I just bought the Harry Potter collection, including Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, parts 1 and 2, as well as the Transformers collection, including Bumblebee. Well, damn, you're going to keep yourself busy with movies this next month, so God bless you. Pair of questions for, let's see, where are we? Okay. Wrestling Fan 1998 says, will WWE shut down? And Kobe says, will AEW go out of business? No and no. WWE obviously will not shut down because they would have shut down already if that was the case. And they should have shut down already, in my humble, my opinion, personally. Of course, my opinion. I detest that people say that. I end up finding myself doing it. And it drives me crazy that I do it to myself. But it's That's how I feel. Excuse me. They're not going to shut down. AEW won't go out of business. AEW is independently funded by a billionaire, and granted, their football business isn't doing too well either. If they're not going to run live either, they're going to run into some troubles too. So they might, but I highly doubt they will go out of business. If that is any consolation to your answer. Ricky Lawson, what are your thoughts on the Tessa Blanchard situation? And do you think any company will pick her up because Charlotte and Blanchard is Mania worthy? Okay, this is going to be a little tough for me, and I'll try to not make it tough for you guys to listen to. I defended Tessa Blanchard, and I defended her because I felt that the witch hunt was out at a time where she was really starting to catch steam. She was going to be the world champion, and I felt it was unfair that all of a sudden the shit was coming to light, and they were attacking her left and right. Upon reflection, it seems to me that not only is what happened in the past relevant in her situation, but it seems as though she's unwilling to leave her dwelling in order to defend the championship and therefore keep her job as the world champion, as an Impact talent. She did not leave Impact. She was released from Impact, Joseph. So I feel as though it's unfortunate as far as WWE picking her up. While a Tessa Blanchard Charlotte Flair match is money on paper, you have to remember that the WWE is a publicly traded company, and they are doing their damnedest to keep PR things PC, and hiring Tessa Blanchard now is a bad look. Whether I agree with her being hired or not by WWE, it's a bad look for the company at this stage of the game. So I don't think it's going to happen until shit dies down. Joseph, I'm not one to disclose. I'm not a news show. NoDQ.com has it. The Observer, all the news sites have it. So feel free to check them out. But she has been let go. There's a lot of shit going on, so please feel free to check out NoDQ.com. It's in the news archives. Check it out there. I highly recommend you checking out Aaron's website, please. And matter of fact, let me just throw it up there just so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. There you go. NoDQ.com. There it is, right there. News, opinions, features. It's in the news section. That's why she's not there anymore. So let me move right along. I believe SummerSlam may not be taking place this year. SummerSlam will take place, WrestleMania 98. It just won't take place in Boston. It'll be at the PC with all the other shows. So there you go. Again, I'm not going to get into the information. I'm not going to shed light. No, stop asking. I already said what I was going to say about Tessa. So if you guys don't already know, I'm not the one to divulge the news. I have my opinion. I feel that it was too soon to, take a stand with her back in January. I'm not taking that stand. What she did was wrong. If she did do it, it was wrong. And what she's doing now is not company saving or company damn, I can't think of a word. It doesn't line up with what the company needs from her. So what he's supposed to do as a company, as an owner. So Jeff, who is the coolest wrestler you have met or interviewed? That's Shane Pinson. The coolest, well, if you go by the 2004 Extreme Awards on NoDQ.com, Frankie Kazarian is the coolest wrestler we ever met or interviewed. He was amazing. Frankie was great. Rob, of course, RVD. Colin said he answered. Here we go. Cleaver Colin Andrew. If NXT UK did shut down, how would you book the title unification matches if they did that? Well, it really depends, Colin, on if they can get Walter, if they can get the other champions across the pond, or if they can get whoever over here to unify. If they can't get champions to unify, then they have to just vacate and say, that's it. Tough shit. Based on what I know about Triple H and what I know about Vince and his never say die attitude, I don't think the brand will completely shut down. I think we'll have a lot of people let go. But they'll rise from the ashes. I've been saying the last week that this entire year, especially in wrestling, seems to be very much the bubonic plague, where it's going to wipe out all of Europe, if you will, in this case, wrestling business, and what will rise from the ashes will be pure, will be clean, and will be better than we ever thought it could be. So I am very much a wait and see guy when it comes to all this stuff. I hope that I'm wrong and that the wrestling business will not have to completely die out to rise from those ashes. But I'm realistic, and I'm very pessimistic, as you all know. So I don't begrudge anybody their thoughts that this is some deep shit we're in, because we're in some deep poodoo here, folks. There's no question about that. So there you go. Do I think Undertaker is truly retired? From Seth Barnes. Yes, I do. But I also thought Shawn Michaels was. So my opinion is poop. What do I know? I want to believe he's done. Based on the show, based on based on the documentary, I want to believe that The Undertaker is done. That his time is up, that he is going to walk away, and allow his career to be over. But again, I'm realistic. I realize that we can't always be sure of anything in this business, and I want to believe that we can be, but wrestling is a very, very fickle business. It's a very fickle world that they live in wrestling. So I don't know what we're going to see. But I want to believe that he is retired. So I take it with a grain of salt. I take it for what it's worth. And I will believe when I see that he is in fact truly is hung up, taken off the hat for the last time and hung the boots up and whatever. Can't think of the damn word right now. Whatever terminology you want to use, I want to believe that's it. So if it is it, then great. He's had a great career. He's had one of the best careers of all time. But if he hasn't, then maybe we'll see him do one more thing at WrestleMania. So, okay. Wrestling Fantasy has a long, a three-part question here. Do you think Triple H's reign of terror, which lasted from 2002 to 2005, hurt the show overall and turned many fans off as a result? I feel Goldberg's push in 2003 was garbage, and he made Raw boring that year. It would have been better had Triple H faced Jericho, Christian, RVD, Kane, Booker T, and others back-to-back for the World Championship. It also would have been better had he not been World Champion for overly extended spans of time. What do you think? You have to remember that Hunter was the champion most of that period because he was arguably the best wrestler on the roster. As far as the heels go, who are you gonna put there? Who are you gonna put in that spot to feed the baby faces to? Or the whole thing of having a heel machine to feed to the face, is very antiquated in my opinion. So it's, what do you do there? So, anyway, but you had Batista win the title, you had Orton win the title, you had Goldberg win the title, you had, you had those guys. And Hunter was champion for most of that, but he had some of the best matches in the company's history, especially Raw brand's history during that time period. I was among the group. I sat right in a chair very much like this 18 years ago and shat all over Triple H and Vince and the Katie Vick thing, which deserved to be shot on, granted. But all that stuff that was going on between 2000 and 2004 prior to the videos debuting, and even when the videos debuted, the first year we were on the air video-wise, we shat on we shat on Hunter. But again, hindsight is 2020 hindsight is obviously ugly because 2020 is an ugly year. But looking back, it wasn't as bad as we think. I mean, there's a lot worse shit going on now. The product now is awful. And I think it would have been a lot better, had that roster been around now. So, okay. Mr. Anderson, what's your favorite WWE video game ever? Mine was No Mercy on the N64. That is my number 2. I loved No Mercy. Loved No Mercy so much. And my favorite, however, is SmackDown versus Raw 2007. Damn good game. The easiest game for me to control wise, which is why 2008 I didn't play because they changed the controlling settings back to what they were, and I couldn't figure out how to refix them without some sort of freaking complete reboot on my system, and it was just irritating the living shit out of me. So I said, screw it. I didn't use it anymore. So that was the last game I actually played full time. Any video game, period. The last game I played full time was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. And that's my favorite video game of all time, WWE wise. It's probably my favorite video game, period. It was just that good. So, Seth Barnes, if Taker came back, would you think it would be the right end of his career if he faced Shawn Michaels out of retirement one last time? Who would go over? Yes, I think that if he's going to come back. If they, for some reason, decided he has to go one more time, I don't understand why, but if they do, Shawn's the guy, and I dare say Shawn goes over. Just to throw a curveball. So there's that. Jay Rosalier says, I actually enjoyed 2K20. I love the ability to download custom stars. I haven't played 2K20. Everybody I've talked to played 2K20 said it was a glitchier and shit and hated it. So you're in the minority, sir, but more power to you. Hello, McDo. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you also to Joe, Chris, and Valerie for liking the video on Facebook. I appreciate that. If you guys like it on YouTube, I don't get to see it until after the fact. So thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook and the Facebook group and on YouTube and on Twitter / Periscope. Hi, guys, in Twitter land. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, I know it's a weird time in the afternoon if you're on the West Coast, but I appreciate you guys watching. I have to do this at 3 o'clock or whatever because of my housing situation. So once I get the studio set up at the other house, we're back at 7 Eastern, kids. Basically, just a lot of comments about the games. They're too complicated nowadays. 2K20 was shit. Again, that's what I've heard. Is WWE in a jam with the new COVID cases? That's what I guess you guys. I guess you missed earlier to be talking about the COVID stuff. Yes, they're in a huge jam. They have to deal with a unprecedented situation. For the first time, they're dealing with having their talent roster. Have to deal with testing every single time they enter a studio or every time they do anything. And, now you've got more people catching it left and right. So it's very, very trying times for the wrestling business, for WWE, for AEW, for the NWA, for Impact, for everybody. It's a shitstorm, folks. It really is. So, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun covering it, but it's something that it gives me joy and it gives me purpose to come on here and interact with you guys and, basically just do my thing each and every Monday. So with that, though, I'm not the only one on the air each and every week. Check it out. Caught me dancing there. Yes. So follow the Greg Trey brand, of course, for the trivia challenge. Follow the Aftermatch guys. I love those guys. They're my dogs. That's a horrible thing to say, but it just came out of my, I don't know, whatever. And of course, NoDQ.com, YouTube for everything else. Good stuff. Did you like SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, the other SmackDown games? Again, versus Raw 2007 was my favorite. I played the other ones. I liked them. I didn't love them. So there's that. Cleaver Colin Andrew, would you like to see David Hart Smith back in NXT or WWE? Yes, I would. I would have liked it if they'd brought him back when TJ was still healthy, but that didn't happen. But I think Smith, if they play their cards right and they bring him back when Davey Boy gets inducted, it would be the best way to go because it's fresh in people's minds. I can't believe there are people who think coronavirus isn't real. That people like that drive me bonkers. It just people's chosen ignorance makes it. It makes it. If you're choosing to be ignorant, you're stupid. That's just my opinion. It's my show. I give my opinion. If you're choosing to be ignorant about something as deadly as coronavirus, you are stupid. So, there you go. How long does Brock Lesnar have left on his career? Who would fittingly be his last opponent, and when do you foresee him withdrawing from pro wrestling altogether? I think if Brock stays healthy, he can go another few years. The way he's booked, the way he's used, the way that he appears when necessary, I think he could really do a few more years as long as he stays healthy, as long as the pay scale is there and the money he wants is there. Blah, 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 easy for me to say. And I think he could do wonderful and stick around. So a few more years. As far as last opponents, God, probably that's a very hard question. I'll reserve it till the end if I think of somebody between now and then. What did you think WWE? What did you think of the way WWE booked Taker versus Angle at Mania instead of No Way Out? Looking back, why in the blue hell didn't WWE do Angle Taker at Mania? Yeah, geez, that's a good question. Especially that year, but you have to remember. Mania 06 was fresh off the death of Eddie Guerrero, and Mysterio was riding that rocket ship to the world title, so it only made sense to put the belt on him at Mania for the big feel good with Eddie's passing and Ray taking the mantle up and everything. Undertaker, yeah, he got kind of a shitty consolation prize with Mark Henry. Not shitting on Mark Henry at all, just the match was what it was, right? So it was unfortunate. Their match No Way Out was unbelievable. I recently watched that on Rewind. It was a damn good match, and can't emphasize that enough how good that was. It was so well done, so well booked, and just a tremendous job by both parties. And that's why it wasn't a Mania, because they had the Mysterio Eddie Guerrero thing to resolve. So there's that. Big G's watching on Twitter now, so thank you, Big G. Appreciate that. Do you ever see Cesaro pushing WWE pushing Cesaro to main event set as his time already passed? We've been saying here on the Jeff Meacham Network, on the DQ, on Casa DT and Studios, on everything I've appeared on the last 10 years or so, excuse me, that it should have already happened. So will it happen? Probably not. Should it at this point? No. I think you're saying the time passing, I think, is a very relevant and poignant statement to make, Mr. Anderson. Cleaver Colin Andrew, have you seen videos of Dominic Mysterio training? His last performances on Raw actually impressed me, to be honest. Me too. I think Dominic is coming into a situation where he has been in the public eye for so long. I remember an entire storyline was built around this kid 15 years ago. And he, to his credit back then, really stepped up to the plate and really put himself in a situation where it could have been really bad and really damaging to the kid's psyche, right? It really could have done a rented space in the kid's head to have this whole custody storyline with him. And it was crazy. So I don't fault him 1 minute for wanting to be in the business and, following dad's footsteps. And it's definitely a hard road to hoe when you're following a Rey Mysterio, when you're following a Ric Flair, when you're following the people who, in their respective fields, in your respective divisions, if you will, when they're the best they've ever been. Mysterio is the greatest cruiserweight they've ever been, arguably the greatest Latino wrestler of all time. So that's a pretty tough shoes to fill. But Dominic's doing really well, so we'll see what happens. How long do you think Kurt Angle would have wrestled on WWE CW before going back to either Raw or SmackDown? He saw it 2006, obviously. How do you think Kurt would have been used had he stayed with WWE and not left? It's my understanding, Wrestling Fan 98, that Kurt was asked to go into rehab and chose instead to ask for his release. And he did, and they did, and he signed with TNA. And that's why that happened, because remember, Kurt has admitted himself he was in a bad headspace in 2006. He was not happy with the direction his character was going. He was on pills. He was drinking, and he wasn't a good person by his own admission back then. So he chose to ignore his problems and leave the company rather than deal with his shit head on. Much like Jeff Hardy did 3 years later. Let's not, mince words there. They both did the exact same thing. They both said they were going to take time off to get their heads screwed on straight, and then they bailed and went to the other company. So, kind of a messy situation. So, there you go. What is my favorite and least favorite type of match? This is from Michael Gonzalez. My favorite match type, I should say. My favorite type of match is probably at this point of my career of my fandom is the Money in the Bank match. My least favorite match type is a death match. I mean with the light tubes and the barbed wire and the real blood and guts stuff. I get nauseous. I get queasy. Very squeamish. Don't like that stuff at all. Not my cup of tea whatsoever. Alyssa, if you can have your tweets or messages translated, I will gladly read them on the air. I can't understand what you're saying. I'm sorry. So, I'm the 2020 version of CM Punk. Okay, thank you, Davi. I appreciate that, I guess. My favorite promo ever, Ricky Lawson. I was looking at this. Somebody puts it out to do that. Somebody put up something where you could leave 3 promos in, the rest go away to history forever and remove from history. My favorite promo that I ever saw, as far as that I've seen in full the whole way through, start to finish, was CM Punk's promo in Vegas in June of 2011. It was awesome to be there, be a part of that, be in the live crowd for that, get the reaction, get the phone call from Aaron saying, what the hell's going on? No DQ completely crashed because of what's going on up there. What is happening? It was one of the craziest nights in the history of the business, all because of words spoken by one man. It was the damnedest thing that I'd seen promo-wise. A close second was Hard Times by Dusty. The Hard Times promo is the best babyface promo ever. No question about it. So, okay. I'm hypothetically speaking in a scenario where Kurt wouldn't have had these overbearing drug burdens. I know what happened in real life with him. Do you think he would have been world champion had he not left in 2006? Had he got his head on straight, had he cleaned his act up and not been on the prescription drugs and the booze and whatever, and got the rehab, went to rehab like he was asked to do, I think he would have been the world champion again before he ultimately hung it up for real in WWE. So there you go. What's my favorite entrance theme song and who had the best ring entrance? My favorite entrance theme song is Real American by Hulk Hogan. I get all the warm fuzz whenever that first note hits. I get into the mode of doing this, and I'm tearing my shirts, and it's an amazing feeling. To this day, 30 years later, I still love that song to this day. The best ring entrance, though, is The Undertaker. I can be in the middle of watching a movie. I can be in the middle of a walk in the park with my son. I could be anywhere on this planet at any given temperature or moment. And the goosebumps pop up. Let's see. Nobody wants to see CM Punk on backstage, just like nobody wants to see you as a host of No DQ Trivia. We need you to compete again. Hey, I appreciate that, V. I really do. But I am happily retired from competition. However, as we've stated on the Trivia Challenge, if Greg reaches 1,000 days, he's going to step back and we're going to have a tournament. I'll be part of that tournament. So if I get to compete, awesome. I look forward to it. But if the tournament happens, I will be competing again. So there you go. Was I a peep? Yes, I was. I love Christian. I love Christian to this day. I was very much a fan of Christian's early on when he was still part of the Brood. So it's great. It's a shame Christian never won the WWE Championship. I'm a huge fan of Christian and have been for over 10 years. How do you feel about Christian? I mean, he won the world title. He won the big gold, right? So that was a consolation or a lifetime achievement for him. But yeah, remember, he won it because Edge had to forfeit it. So he kind of succeeded his best friend, lifelong best friend, as champion. So there you go. What's up, Jeff from Rob G? What's better, the heel HBK promo from 2005 or the heel Rock promo from 2003? Would have to go with The Rock. Shawn's 2005 promo, yes, it was very good because it's Shawn Michaels, but it didn't resonate like The Rock's heel promos in 2003 because the people wanted to boo The Rock. The people hated that The Rock turned his back on them, right? So that was wonderful stuff. What are my thoughts? This is from Michael Gonzalez. What are my thoughts on Michaels versus Hogan from 2005 SummerSlam? I understand why Michaels acted like he did, but I feel he went overboard at some points during the match. Yeah, he kind of oversold, and from what I have read, that was by design, just to kind of show that, hey, I can, I'm not really selling, but I am selling, right? So. Ricky Ross, I know you're a huge fan for women's wrestling, so let me ask you this. What is your dream women's match that has never happened? As it sits now, one-on-one, Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks. Let's see here. Okay, I think I missed. Okay. Christian was one of the best talkers, too, and I thought he was a pawn and he wasn't including WWE's top 50 talkers of all time. He was, so was a great talker. What do you think? I think at the time they compiled that list, I don't know when it was compiled, so forgive me, but he wasn't the top 50. So I can't stand Seth Rollins' new gimmick, Messiah. What happened with the Architect gimmick on Monday night? Rollins was hot as the Intercontinental Champion. Can't stand the Messiah gimmick. Okay. They needed a top heel on Raw. Brock's gone. McIntyre's a babyface. They needed somebody to be a heel. Rollins is a great heel. I love the Messiah gimmick. I think it's freaking brilliant. I really do. I love the whole thing. It's really awesome. It's a great gimmick. So, my opinion, though, again. Do I think Bret Hart is bitter about many things? And do you think some of his criticisms of certain wrestlers are unfair and exaggerated? Okay. I think I've commented on Bret a couple times, but I'll go ahead and say my piece one more time. I feel that Bret, and we'll give this real quick here. I like Bret Hart, and he comes across as very laid back, but yet very truthful and believable when he speaks of certain wrestlers, being impressionable and downright awful. That I will agree with. I think that he's very truthful in what he said. He believes what he says is true. He believes that, certain people are a certain way in wrestling. And to a certain extent, he's right. I just feel that he honestly comes across as bitter more than critical, right? Does that make any sense, guys? Like because of the way his career ended, he comes off as more bitter than he does critical of the current state of the business. From Scott, what current wrestler in any company would you think would have made it big during the Monday Night War? honestly, during the Monday Night War, probably, oh hell, I forgot the name. During the war itself, Lesnar, McIntyre, the Velveteen Dream would have been a great character back in the day. Adam Cole, Man Disputed Era, Gargano and Ciampa. A lot of those guys would have been really, really well done in the 90s. Why is it WWE, and this says Nick Wood, why is WWE has massively failed to find a top guy who is not interchangeable since Cena? Good question. They got so many guys in the system. They got so many guys in that system that they could bring up, that they could develop, that they could fine-tune a little bit and make diamonds out of coal, and they haven't done it yet to be the guy. They tried so hard with Roman, and it backfired on them. So I don't know why that hasn't happened. I would love to see somebody break out of that pack like Cena did, break out of that pack of four, him and Orton and Lesnar and Batista, and really become the guy. Let's see. Rob G says, out of all the guys Triple H beat in his reign of terror, as it was called earlier, which guy would you book to be Triple H during that time? Oh, Orton. Randy Orton. He should have been champion longer than a month. No question about it. Ricky Lawson's asking if I feel that the Monday Night Messiah is better than the Strategy Society Punk. No, I don't. Punk and the Strategy Society was one of the best heels the last 10 years, 11 years. Unbelievable work by Punk there. Have I seen the latest Broken Skull sessions with Mark Henry? Yes, I have. Recommended. Jeff Meacham's stamp of approval. Great episode. They're all great. All the sessions with Stone Cold are really good. They're all really, really well done. Faux show. If Bret Hart had known that his WCW run was going to be rubbish, the Montreal Screwjob would have never happened, and his last match would have been noteworthy and fitting. Do you agree? I think if he had not left for WCW, his contract would have ended with the WWF in whatever it was, 20 years from 96, so 2016, 4 years ago. And he would have been in the office. He would have been a producer or a writer, or he would have been a company man. And I think if Vince hadn't realized that the company wasn't in such financial shit like he thought it was, they would have kept Brett. So there's all kinds of onion layers of that onion. So there you go. Dun, 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 dun. Who would I like to see in the next Broken Skull sessions? From back then, I would say The Rock, Hunter, Shawn Michaels, Hogan. Why not Hogan? I know. Why not bring the Hulkster on there? You know, we haven't really heard Hogan's side of the thing with Austin, so why not? I don't know if this has been asked yet, but do you think with the new cases coming? Okay, yeah, we're just a COVID. Yeah. I like the Nexus CM Punk better than the Strategy CM Punk, just my opinion. That is definitely your opinion. You're entitled to it. I disagree. I feel Strategy Society Punk was CM Punk's best heel run. And if he'd been the WWE champion, then it would have been really awesome to see. But again, a little too controversial for the top guy to be that gimmick. So there's that train of thought also. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching today. It's been about 45, so we'll go ahead and call it a day. Let me first of all, let me get this loaded in here while I do that. So let's see here. I want to do this, and I want to do this. There we go. Come on. There we go. You can load. Really, it is possible. We have the technology. Trying to get these promos loaded so I can have them ready to show to you guys, because damn it. Pardon my itchy nose. So coming up the rest of this week, just so you guys are aware, Tomorrow, no show for me because, well, I'm just not doing a show on Tuesdays right now. So that's how that goes. Wednesday will be Wrestling Rewind. We'll be watching, if we get it taped, hopefully, the July 4th, 2002 SmackDown, which of course featured the first match between John Cena and Chris Jericho, and a World Tag Team Title match between Billy and Chuck and Edge and Hulk Hogan. That'll be fun to watch. If they made another documentary like they did with The Last Ride, who would you want to see it on besides Vince? I like the answer of Triple H is a good answer. If they'd made it, Shawn Michaels would have been good, but definitely Triple H when he finally says that's it. Vince is definitely the best answer, though, I think, for that. No question about that. So, all right. Wednesday, Wrestling Rewind again, July 4th, 2002 SmackDown. That'll be Wednesday. Thursday, the No DQ review. If I end up going on that show, haven't decided if I'm going to be on this week, so we will see. Stay tuned for that. Friday, I believe, is Dad's on Wrestling. Let me go ahead and get the... There it is. This week, because it's going to be July 4th weekend, this coming weekend. So happy Independence Day, by the way, guys, if you're in America. If you're in Britain, I'm sorry. We'll be covering the top 10 NWA/WCW/WWE United States champions. That's this Friday. Next Friday, of course, we are back with the NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge over on the Greg Cherry brand. And immediately after that, next Friday, you can come back here and catch the post-game wrap-up here exclusively on the Jeff Meacham Network. That'll be 1 week from this Friday, so July 10th. The King of the Ring 01 was glitchy. I did hear that was a glitchy show, and I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there with my editing. I apologize. I will try to do better for the 4th of July show, the Watch of SmackDown. So, plugs aplenty here. Let me get right to it. First of all, you can catch the official... Can't see the thing. Doop. Follow the official statistician and scorekeeper of the NDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge and the Championship Network at Statboy. Mikey Caldwell, of course. He is LB Stat Kid 1977. He's on Twitter. Check him out there. You can follow my co-host on the Dads on Wrestling, JJ Williams, at the Renegade JJ Williams. He's on Instagram as well. You can find Greg Cherry, my co-host on Wrestling Rewind, as well as the NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Champion on Twitter at Greg Cherry Brand, on Instagram at Greg Cherry Brand, and of course on YouTube, Greg Cherry Brand, and teespring.com/stores Greg Cherry Brand for all of these shirts and many, many, many more. Everybody on the NoDQ family has their own shirt, as well as the shirt I'm wearing today, which of course is the Henderson Hottie shirt, as well as Mikey's shirt, the Statboy Approved shirt. But there are so many shirts on Greg's site that I can't get them all in one shot, and I will eventually. That's my goal. So I mentioned them earlier, but Aftermatch Wrestling on YouTube. Check those guys out. They are one of the best YouTube sites out there, without question. You can check out my Teespring store at teespring.com/Jeff-Meacham-Network. And of course, do not forget, you can find this show and Wrestling Rewind and many, many more on anchor.fm/Jeff Meacham Network. I thank you guys so much for watching today. We will see you guys next time right here on the Jeff Meacham Network.